Welcome to Tiny Rails, the fun little game with a train. And that's mine, currently going past. I've made a couple of changes to it since the last episode, so I will explain those in a second. But in the general scheme of things, I'm trying to do a quest for the Oceania area. And as part of that quest, I'm meant to pick up a prisoner who I ran into earlier in this game, named Blackwell, in Russia. But before I can do that, I've got to convert some part of my train to be a prison train, which has taken me to Osaka in Japan, Kazakhstan. Now I'm in America. Oh, I went through London as well, and Stockholm as well, I think. I basically, because this is the Oceania quest, I haven't been to anywhere near Oceania yet. Closest I came to it was Osaka in Japan. So, this time round, it's telling me I've got to go to Baton Rouge to pick up some stuff in Baton Rouge. So, whilst I came to America to get to this point, I also did some work around America with cargo, and I now only have one American city that has one United States city that has a cargo request outstanding, which is this one, which I need 721 poutine, which you can only seem to get in Canada East. So I'm on my way to, is it Baton Rouge? I think it's Baton Rouge. Yep. To continue with the quest. I have also managed to, I'll even show this, pretty much fill up my depot again as I've been travelling around America filling in cargo requests. And I've made a slight alteration to my train. I have, I'll go to the back, I've replaced some of the cargo cars I had closer to the front of my train with more capacity cargo cars and shoved them at the back, because you really don't see anything from cargo cars, including this citrus car. So my cargo capacity, my train, is now currently 318, up from 283 or 285 I think it was. I've moved my passenger trains slightly further towards the front and swapped out one of them for a level 1, now currently a level 2 passenger car, because I have so many cars which need upgrading. I'm not going to do anything in New Orleans, so straight on to Baton Rouge. And the 3 cars I normally have at the front, well, I'm going to keep the camel car when it's fully upgraded, and it currently needs upgrading, and I also need to clean the train. So first things first, I'm going to upgrade the camel car to level 2. But it does have a nice, if it will highlight it, a nice cargo capacity for the camel stable. And here comes the quest part. I am meant to pick up the Magnum welding kit. So let's do that. Sophia, this is a great welding kit. I can't believe we're going to work with Magnum materials. It's pretty tough to get. We're lucky they found that new mine in Africa. I bet Blackwell wishes he could have gotten his hands on this stuff when he was working on those space trains. Blackwell being the guy who's going to be the prisoner when I finally get hold of him. You know, I read the other day they still haven't recovered all of that space tech from Russia. Come on, Hank, not another conspiracy theory. Hear me out, Sophia. How did Cyril get ahead of us during the Great Train Race? Interesting theory. Okay, so I picked up the one thing I wanted from here. I have some general stuff in my train, and I'm going to pick up the strawberries because I have a use for them in Europe. If I ever go back through Europe, I don't know where it's going to send me next, but I need to click on the Oceania Chapter 1-6, collect the reward, and now I need to buy rare plasma core cargo from that place in Russia. Well, I don't know where that place is in Russia, but before we get there, right, we're going on to Houston, so I'll get the train started so I can drop off the poutine, and let me see if I can now find where this place in Russia they want me to go to next is. Okay, this side of Russia. That's not so bad. So what I'm going to do is take a ship from the west side of the United States and go into this Africa West port, then make my way up through Europe to get up to there. I may not get there during this episode, but that is the current plan as I come into Houston. And the reason I want to come into Houston is to drop off this poutine to get that down to 664 remaining. So as I say, I don't want to go all the way through Europe and across the long tunnel where nothing happens, so I'll head to the USA Westport, which is a few stations away. Right, the other thing I need to do is upgrade the marble car, which I put on my train a couple of episodes ago. It's ready to level up to its final level, and hopefully it will now become an actual statue. And it provides entertainment, so it's going to get replaced shortly, as is this rewinder car at the front, which also needs upgrading. For the moment they can stay. And my camel car is going to take quite a bit of time before it gets upgraded, and this passenger car is going to get replaced with another passenger car when it reaches its final level, which isn't too far away. Okay. Don't. Oh, there is something. I want strawberries. Strawberries are useful. I'm going to get rid of the pigs, the oil, and the corn. They do have a use, but I don't particularly want to collect too much more stuff right now. Okay, so next thing's next. I need. Oh, whilst I remember, I'm keeping this engine on the front of my train and this equivalent caboose at the back for one reason. It makes my train go faster in Oceania. If I ever get to Oceania whilst doing the Oceania quests. And I'm really looking forward to getting to Oceania because I've got a lot of cargo in my depot that will be useful when I get there. I should have a good fun emptying it out. However, that may take a little while before I get there. So let me see if I can find a couple more cars. Oh, wrong one. No, didn't mean to do that. Right. To replace the ones I've currently got on my train. That would be an Apple car, which I haven't used, needs upgrading, so you can replace the statue. And what are you? A bullet passenger car. Or I'll go with a Hawaiian car. I haven't used one of those for a while. Let's be coming to Fort Stockton. I don't need any more barbecue. Okay, so off we go. Oh, I will clear out the jobs before I talk about the next thing I was going to say. And get some replacement jobs. They'll do. Okay, so here's my wonderful car, my front of my train now, with a Hawaiian car at the front, a Apple car for freight, a camel stable, and a steam passenger car. What is the next thing I was going to say? I've forgotten now. Oh yes. As you notice, I've got almost 13 million in cash now. That's what happens when you go through the United States or through North America, including Mexico. I completed a couple of cities, 2 or 3 cities in Mexico's cargo requirements. I completed New York and Seattle in the United States, and I've still got 3 outstanding cities in Canada, which require computer chips, parkers, and fireworks, which I don't have enough of those currently. But I also went round and picked up, even though there wasn't a great deal of it, I picked up some lumber in Canada, which will help with my my station building in Africa when I get back to that. because that's probably the next place I want to complete the task list for. Just purely because it will be helpful to, as it will, well, rather than explain it, show it. Right, Africa East. All these wonderful stations need building. But there is a task list, of which I've completed 5 out of the 7. I need to buy a load more cargo and travel around it a bit longer. Then I will get a new depot, probably in Africa Centre. That's on my list of places to do. And once... I'll come back to the map in a second. Anything in El Paso I want? I actually want the iron. I have a reason for that. Okay, off we go to Tucson. And equally next to there is this area, Middle East Lower, which has a really interesting looking train and caboose. But that will get me a new port and a new depot, as well as opening Southeast Asia West, if I complete the remaining 4 tasks there. And one of them is meet another cargo demand, which is, I think is, I'm planning on doing Jerusalem, which wants iron. I've also got to buy a ton of cargo there, and I've got to upgrade a load of stations, and they're not cheap. So that's going to take a bit of money. Have I done this area? I have done that area. Okay. So they're the 2 I want to work on next. As I've got a depot right there, and I think that's Jerusalem. Jerusalem wants 350 iron. Hence the reason I'm picking up iron along the way, even though I haven't got a lot of space in my depot. So there is a plan to my madness. Not a great plan, because none of my plans are ever great. However, just where am I in the great scheme of things? Okay, I need to take a slight detour here. I need to go up to... Actually, we'll go that way around. I need to go up to my depot before I take the ship out of America. What's this place got? It's got some iron. I'll take that. And off we go. I know this. As I say, my plans are never great, but I do have some minor knowledge. So I'm going to come out of Africa West, go up through the southern half of Europe, and... Okay, I don't need that one, that one, that one, and I could stop at my depot and come back, but I'm going to go through via Milan. And Milan wants a load of strawberries, and I've got some strawberries in my depot. Hence, my reason for my little detour to my depot to pick them up pretty much now. Yes, I could use some of this other stuff as well. Oh, and with my new car on my, whatever it was, Apple car on the front, I now have the capacity of 333 cargo for my train. And as a lot of this game is about transporting cargo, it is useful to reconfigure your train to carry more cargo. Something I'd been neglecting for a while because I was just wandering around enjoying myself. So, and it looks like I've completed a load of jobs, so I might as well clear them out and replace them with new ones. That is how I make so much money. Just takes time and miles, mainly. Don't want any of those. Take that one. That one. And one more job. Need one more, that one will do. As I come into Salt Lake City in the middle of the night. Of course, the downside of having put an Hawaiian car on my train, admittedly it will upgrade quite fast because it doesn't require that much experience. The downside is I keep having to click it to collect the money. Okay, that's Salt Lake City. Oh, even more iron. Yes, I could use... Oh, I do want the microprocessors. I could use some of the other stuff, but I don't. And to, yeah, I can go to my USA West depot. on my way there, we'll come out of my USA West depot and head down to Los Angeles, a la so. So I want to pick up strawberries, probably the pocket knives that are in my depot, because they'll be useful when I'm going through Europe, and maybe even some cooking oil if I've got the space for it. I don't know how many strawberries I've got. Easy way to check. My depot. It's got a lot of stuff in it. Mainly because a lot of it's going to be useful in Oceania when I ever get there. Utility knives is one of the things I'm... Are there any strawberries in here? Yes, there are. 96 strawberries. So, I don't need the iron right now. All on my... Oh, my depot is currently full. So where'd those 96 strawberries go? Right, so I don't need you and you right now. Or you. All these bits I picked up from obstructions. They can stay in my depot until I need them. Right, so I now need about 47 pocket knives. I want them, and cooking oil. Where's the cooking oil? Because I'm going to need that as I go through the start of Russia. Okay, that's almost filled my train up. But I'm not planning on picking up much cargo along the way. I am just planning on dropping the stuff I've got in my train and picking up a few bits and pieces along the way. Tulips being one of them, and casino chips. Because they are two of the things I need for tulips in a lot of places. Casino chips I just need a lot of in Europe. One of the other things I need in Europe is parkas, but I don't have any of those because I was using all the parkas I had to fulfill cargo requirements in Alaska and Canada and Seattle. I did do a side trip to Alaska to drop off about 160 watermelons up in Anchorage and a few parkas up in another town up there. So generally, I did a reasonable job of clearing out my depot, but then I filled it up again. But what I am hoping is when it finally sends me to Oceania on this wonderful Oceania quest, I can then wander around Australia dropping off a ton of cargo. Well, that almost filled my train. Microprocessors are useful in a whole variety of places, including Canada and Japan. I think there's a place in Russia that wants them as well. Hence the reason I tend to pick them up when I'm in USA West, because I know there's a lot of places that want them. And that tends to be my downfall with my depot. I tend to pick things up because, oh, I know that I'm going to need those, not realising I'm not going to actually go to any of those places for quite a while. Well, I realise it, but I just don't have the self-control to stop myself. Yes, it's a character flaw. I have a few. As daylight dawns, come into LA. It's probably got a ton of computer chips in LA, knowing my luck, because I can't fit them on my train, even with its expanded capacity. Now it's got a ton of iron, which I can't currently fit on my train. Well, iron isn't really in short supply. So, off we go to San Francisco. Then after San Francisco, it is the port. Okay, so time to collect the money for any jobs I've completed. That's another 15,000. Make that 20,000. Make that 25,000. So I've now got just over 13 million. I could do that job, but I probably won't have enough time to... Oh, I'll accept it. I'm bound to be back in the USA West at some point. Yes, it will depend how many people get off the train at San Francisco. One more job. That's all I'm looking for. Thank you. That one will do. Although, clearing this obstruction is about to complete another couple of jobs. Now, the sun is up. The sky is blue. The sea is blue. The sand looks nice. And here's San Francisco. Interesting place, San Francisco. Well worth a visit. Okay, there's maybe stuff in here I want, but I can't carry it, so straight on towards the ship. Let's have a burst of speed to get there. So we're trying to catch a boat to Africa. Okay, 20 miles to go. Then as soon as we come out the other end, I need to click the map so I point it in the right direction rather than let it select which route I'm going to take on my way out of the port. Africa West port. Cost almost 13,000, but we're on our way. Right, I want to go north. If you don't do that, then it will select which route it wants to take out of the port, and it may not be the direction you want it to go in. Nope. I try and keep the first 4 cars on screen now. Oh, this one's getting close to levelling up. And there's probably stuff in Castle. Oh, apples. I'm not carrying any apples. If I thought about that, I would have brought some apples with me. Never mind. Yeah, again, there's stuff I could use in there. All my passengers. However, just curious, did I actually complete that job with... I did. I served 50 passengers in USA West. That must be how many people got off at San Francisco. Or more than that. Another 4 jobs completed and about another 60,000 earned. Oh, before I start selecting more jobs. I don't really care what's in this town. Right. Point you towards Porto. And now, oh, wrong button. I keep doing that. Back to get me some more jobs. Like I say, this is how I earn most of my money. Yeah, I don't care what's in Tangier because I don't have any space, and I want the stuff that pretty much all the stuff I've got on my train. Until I get to Milan and drop off a load of strawberries. There's not much I can do cargo-wise. I can complete more jobs, because I seem to be doing that quite well at the moment. My maximum speed of 325 miles an hour. Let me head to the back of my train. There's the caboose. It's got 67,000 in it, so I'll take it out of the caboose. That's open from... okay. Time to do a train cleaning. It's one thing I have noticed, if you have level 1 cars, rather than the more usual level 2 or level 3 cars at this stage, then they tend to give you cleaning and repair prompts more often because they don't have the resiliency, the durability. Hence, when they reach their percentage gone, you get the cleaning or repair prompt. I would like to pick up the casino chips, but I haven't got the space for them. So I'm just not going to bother. I will always come back through this area at some point. Well, I've been through it frequently. But Europe, I've probably got 12 stations I still need to fill cargo requests for. Mexico, I've got about 6. USA 1, Canada 3. Alaska, I've got about 6 or 7. Russia, I've got 3 or 4, I think. And China's probably got about 8 or 9 in it. Asia North, as they term it. And Japan's probably got about 5 or 6. So I am whittling them down. But it does take quite a bit of time and cargo gathering. Again, no point in looking at the market because I can't carry anything until I drop off some strawberries in Milan. So not the most thrilling of journeys at the moment, just going from one place to another. If I was playing this without recording it, I'd have just set the target destination to Milan and put it back on the main menu or quit the game and come back to it a point later when I'd been coming into Milan. That's what I normally mean by you can get as involved with this game as much or as little as you like. I make most of my money from doing the distance jobs and picking up cargo from obstacles, which is why this is actually useful. I'll just pick up the money from there. Because the distance I'm travelling is useful for the distance jobs I'm doing. However, there are times you just need to go from one place to somewhere on the other side of the map or halfway across the map, and it's just as easy to set the final destination, let the train lay out its course, and walk away and go do something else. And come back 10 minutes, 30 minutes later, depending on how far it is you've got to travel, and then continue onwards. However, I really can't do that while I'm recording an episode because, well, it really wouldn't be of any interest to watch a title screen for 10 or 15 minutes. Not that I'm sure my voice is that thrilling to listen to, or train going across the screen is that thrilling to listen to. Now, if you have any sense, you'll be watching television while you're watching and listening to this as well, or reading a book, or I don't know, doing cartwheels across the room, or climbing up onto the ceiling. I have no idea what people do for fun. Or playing with your phone. That's what most people seem to do these days. But whatever it is you would be doing, I've got, while I'm recording this, I've actually got a TV on it in the background on silent, where Newcastle are playing Chelsea in the Premier League. And for those of you that care, it's currently 0-0. And it's almost half time. But I'm recording this on a Saturday, and that's what I do on Saturday mornings for the most part, is watch the Premier League. Because I miss football. And I can't take the MLS seriously. So I want to watch European football. I can still technically call English football European football because Brexit hasn't happened yet. And here we go on my way to Milan to drop off the strawberries. I might as well see which jobs I've completed. They should all be, for the most part, mileage jobs, I think. 3 of them. And replace them with more jobs. Don't like the look of that one. That cargo from obstacles, I always like those. That's a... Now, I'll take a shorter mileage job. Yeah, the mileage jobs are either 621 miles, which is 1,000 kilometers, 1,553 miles, which is, what's that, 2,500 kilometers or 2,000 kilometers? I have no idea. And 3,100 miles, 3,107 miles, which is 5,000 kilometers. Yeah, I think the 1,553 miles is 2,500 kilometers. If my calculations are correct. Oh, okay, didn't quite get to Milan. Yeah. Some pasta and bonbons. For my cargo depot, I did leave enough space in my depot to actually collect that. But these two carriages are ready to level up. So I will level up the Hawaiian car to level 2. That didn't take too long. And the Apple car also to level 2. The Apple car's got quite a nice cargo capacity as well. I might have to consider keeping that on. And yes, my camel stable is going to take a long time to upgrade, 25,000 experience. Whereas this steam passenger car is almost where it needs to be. As we finally come into Milan. Okay, which means I can drop off 116 strawberries to make it 526 strawberries, more strawberries needed there. And I'm going to pick up the tulips and the pasta from here because I have a use for both of those. Well, I have a use for pretty much everything that's in there. And there's 14 seconds or 13 seconds, 12 before this market refreshes. So any second now. 1-0. Okay, refreshes next time I go in. Okay, so I get to pick up another 25 tulips whilst I'm here. Now I need to, naturally of course, plan a route to where I'm going next. And somewhere in Russia, and the way to Russia is through Helsinki or Stockholm. Did I actually complete Stockholm's cargo demand? No, I did not. So I will just tell it to go to Oslo. And set it on its way. And let me zoom out slightly. Right, and so the route it's chosen is through Vaduz, Luxembourg, Brussels, Amsterdam, Berlin, Copenhagen, Oslo, and then I'll go through Stockholm, Helsinki, and into Russia, through St. Petersburg, which is why I'm carrying the cooking oil, and then to that place. However, that's going to be in a the trip there isn't, the destination in Russia will be where I start the next episode, because otherwise you just watch me drive the train through Europe. Let's just check the market here. Clogs, sausages, watermelons. Useful, useful, useful. Sheep, aluminium, and bonbons I'm not that bothered about. Oh, the bonbons went into my depot. So that's where I'm going to end this episode. I'm on my way to Russia. Hopefully I'll get to pick up the wonderful prisoner in the next episode and actually start my way down towards Australia. I can but hope. However, we'll see how that goes when the next episode starts. As always, I hope you enjoyed or found it vaguely interesting, and hopefully I'll see you down the track for more Tiny Rails in the near future. Cheerio!